Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahavana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahavana Lalitam Sri Vishakhannitam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahavana Lalitam Sri Vishakhannitam Vande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Nishavatarakam Tat Prakasham Tachakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangakam Namo Yom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutali Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namini Namaste Saraswato Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Namo Yom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutali Srimate Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Swami Namini Sri Saraswati Priyeshta Shevanam Suvigraham Sri Sarupa Raya Rupa Raga Rashmi Sundaram Radhika Sudivya Bhava Ranjitam Priyam Badhum Sridharam Bhajami Bhakti Rakshakam Chira Prabhum Namo Yom Vishnu Padaya Gaura Prishthaya Bhutali Srimad Bhakti Pramodaya Puri Goswami Namini Divya Jnana Pradatricha Prabhavi Janma Janma Jnana Vairagya Dehaya Shastra Siddhanta Samvidi Patitanam Samudra Yati Veshadaraya Vai Pracharachara Karjecha Jagarukaya Sarvada Jathodhavasya Kumarad Bhagavad Archanirati Vaishnavanam Sarvakriti Dakshata Paramatata Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutali Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namini Siva Shobhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripa Vidhai Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daini Prabhaviyam Madhuryo Jala Premadha Sri Rupa Anuga Bhaktida Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastuti Namaste Gauravani Srimurtai Dinatarini Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dhantahari Gaurangai Kagati Prajasitamati Sri Gauradhamasthiti Satchastraika Vriti Kusanga Viratir Dustabhyatha Niskriti Sri Rupai Karati Sanatananati Sri Jivati Jastati Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Vijayati Gauri Agasti Pati Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Where is Leelavati Devi? She is here. Leelavati Devi. She came.
You want me to call her?
No, it's okay if she is engaged in some service. Okay. And she's doing something in the kitchen.
I don't know. Leelavati, qu'est-ce qu'elle fait?
Alors, Leelavati, elle a habillé Jarima.
En anglais?
Ah, Leelavati dressed Jagannath Baladev Subha.
Where is she now? She's in the
She
kitchen.
must be in
No.
the pujari room.
Okay.
Now she's very tired from dressing, so she wants to
Rest.
Traduction, c'est là.
Tu peux traduire? Peut-être vous pouvez
Leelavati Devi, nice to hold. So, Gaur Hari. So today, I offer my most respectful obeisances, my prostrated obeisances unto the holy lotus feet of all my Guru Varga. All my Guru Varga, all the Vaishnava Vrinda, and humbly praying for the divine grace, benevolent grace and mercy be bestowed upon me, upon all of you. By invoking their divine grace in the first place, I'm beginning to speak Ekadashi Mahatma and glories of the Harivasa Tithi, how to be observed. So today, offer my loving regards to all the assembled devotees here. I do appreciate the presence of all of you, very good hearts, devotees of Mahaprabhu Divine Couple, our near and dear spiritual family, devotional family, all of you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, our Lord, Divine Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually showed the way. He set up the very nice example before all of us about how to be observing the day of Harivasara, the day of Ekadashi. We find a most wonderful, beautiful description in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. More elaborately, we find some beautiful, wonderful descriptions about the Harivasara day, Ekadashi day, as Divine Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu observed it. How he spent that Harivasara day in the association of his beloved devotees, Sankirtan devotees. So that Kirtana, we all know about that Kirtana. We are all familiar, should be familiar with that Kirtana. Sri Hari Vasara Vasare Hari Kirtana Vidhan. Kirtana starting with, the first line starting with Sri Hari Vasare Hari Kirtana Vidhan Nritya Arambhila Prabhu Jagatera Pran. On the day of Hari Vasara Ekadashi, on the fine days, beautiful days, special days, which is meant to please Hari in a very special way. Hari Vasara day, I would say, on the Hari Vasara days, Krishna Chaitanya, Sriman Mahaprabhu, Gaura Hari, used to be engaged in the festival of Krishna Sankirtana, the festival of Radha Krishna Sankirtana, chanting and singing the holy names and devotional love songs about Radha Krishna in Srivas Angana, in the residence of Srivas Pandit, accompanied by his beloved associates over there, and would be so much absorbed, immersed in the limitless nectarine ocean of the taste, nectarine taste of Krishna Sankirtana. Would be immersed in tasting, relishing the wonderful nectar, ambrosial nectar of Krishna Sankirtana. Sri Hari Vasari Hari Kirtana Vidhan. And we know one of the very fundamental characteristics of Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he begins to dance. But Srila Swami Prabhupada ji said, be chanting, chant and dance and be happy. Chant, dance and be happy. Sriman Mahaprabhu and the kind of Krishna Sankirtana movement Sriman Mahaprabhu introduced was the epitomic example of that. Chant, dance and be supremely happy. Epitome. So, the quality and the type of Krishna Sankirtana Sriman Mahaprabhu Gaura Hari introduced was no ordinary Sankirtan. Was filled with so much love ecstasy, filled with so much ecstatic devotional love of Radha Krishna, of Lord Hari. And we should be observing, telling us, giving us the divine messages, setting the wonderful examples before us how we should be observing the day of Ekadashi, the day of Hari Vasara, the day of Hari Vasara means the residential day of Sri Hari. Residence of Sri Hari. Dwelling place, residential place of Lord Hari called Hari Vasara. We can say the residential tithi, day, Lord Hari specifically lives in. He loves to be present. He loves to be present on the day of Haribasura. So, Mahaprabhu, out of some wonderful feelings of ecstasy, divine ecstasy, ecstatic love of Krishna, Radhika, Mahaprabhu simply started dancing. Nityaram bhila prabhu jagatero pranam. So Mahaprabhu, he set the example. He used to be observing the day of Haribasara in such a way, absorbed, immersed in ambrosial Krishna Sankirtan, Radha Krishna Sankirtan, accompanied by so much chanting, singing and dancing with the holy names and with the love songs of Radha Krishna. So, what I was saying, one of the transcendental characters or characteristics of Mahaprabhu to be dancing, because that was no ordinary dance. The quality of Krishna Sankirtana Mahaprabhu presented, manifested in Siva Sangana, on the days, not on only one Ekadashi day, not only in one Haribasara day, on the days of the Ekadashi was alive with ecstatic love of divine couple, alive with the ambrosial taste of the holy names of Lord Hari. Love song, connecting to Lord Hari. That kind of kirtan Mahaprabhu introduced, kirtana vidhan. No ordinary casual way of any Krishna Ram Sankirtan. No. And therefore, there will be so much taste of the flow of ecstatic love of Krishna. There will be so much flow of the love, blissful love of Krishna, that automatically Sriman Mahaprabhu start dancing, and alongside all his beloved associates would be absorbed, would be madly engaged in ecstatic dancing and chanting. So, that kind of dancing was not like we are supposed to be dancing instead of standing, so we should dance. No. The dancing was inspired by real taste of ecstatic love. So much divine ecstasy of the Krishna Sankirtana. Meaningful Krishna Sankirtana, each and every holy names they are chanting, they are realizing the nectar of the meanings of each and holy names of Lord Hari, Radha Krishna. And because of the relish, and that relish was reflecting the aura, the effect of the joy of Krishna Sankirtan, their ambrosial relish was reflecting throughout their body, mind and soul. Mahaprabhu's associates I am talking about. I cannot say Mahaprabhu's body, mind and soul, he is Tattva, Supreme Tattva God. But I am talking of the associates. So, ambrosial, ecstatic feelings, relish, inundating the whole existence of their mind and soul, whole existence, and making them dance. I am talking, going round and round about dance. It was a natural dance. It was natural, ecstatic dance, blissful dance, inspired by blissful nectar of Krishna Sankirtan. Blissful nectarine taste of Krishna Sankirtan. Singing, chanting the holy names, in chantings of the holy name, by singing of the love songs, loving devotional songs, so much transcendental bliss was felt, it made them becoming so absorbed and mad, divinely maddened through dancing. Okay, so that it reflected through dance and also through their bodily appearances, physical appearances, of an ashtashattika vikara, 8 kinds of loving devotional symptoms, transcendental love symptoms of divine couple Radha Krishna also reflected, appeared in their existence. Such quality of Radha Krishna Sankirtana, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur described in that, in Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavatam, and that the lines, the specific lines glorifying the day of Ekadashi, narrating the glories and activities on the day of Ekadashi in Srivas Angan, led by Mahaprabhu, guided by, directed by Sriman Mahaprabhu, has been compiled in this song in one place. Sri Hari Vasare Hari Kirtana Vidhan Nitya Arunghila Prabhu Jagatero Pran. Then next, Punnavanta Srivasayangane Shubharambha Uthila Kirtanadhani Gopala Govinda. Again, Srivas Angan has been described here as Punnavanta. It's not just one of the places in Navadvip Dham, not just one of the regular places, common places in Siddham Navadvip, but Punnavanta Srivasa Angane Shubharam. Here the definition, Punnavanta, the term Punnavanta actually means towards Srivas Pandit. Punnavanta Srivasa Pandit. Srivas Pandit, who was so much full of the higher merits, higher spiritual merits, spiritual virtues. Punnavanta. I repeat, Punnavanta Srivasanga. In the residence of that Srivasa Pandit, I repeat, in the residence of the pure devotee of Lord Hari, Srivasa Pandit, who was so filled with great virtues, who was embodiment of divine virtues, devotional virtues and merits, Punnavanta. So, the auspicious beginning of the Krishna Sankirtana, ecstatic Krishna Sankirtana, took place in the residence of Srivasa Pandit, full of divine virtues, devotional virtues. Subharam Utila Kirtana Dhani Gopala Govinda. In that Krishna Sankirtana, the holy names such as Gopala, Govinda, Madhava, and many other holy names were being chanted and sung in divinely maddening, ambrosial ecstasy of Krishna Prema. whatever the way I am explaining about the mood of this song, the character, is not always found in the literal translation. I'm explaining with illuminations. Okay. Punnavanta Srivas Angan Shubharambho Utila Kirtanadhvani Gopala Govinda. Holy names, wonderful holy names like Gopala, Govinda, Madhava, Krishna, Madana Mohana, Radhika Ramana. So Hari, all these are such holy names of Krishna being chanted, sung in ecstatic love, overwhelming ecstatic love of Krishna. And Rama, Gopala Govinda Rama. Rama means Radhika Ramana Rama. You have to understand. Rama. Radha Ramana Rama. So, Mridanga Mandira Baje Shankha Karatala Sankirtan Sangi Sab Haila Mishan. Mridanga Mandira Baje Shankha Karatala. Mridanga, Ghanta, Karatal, all are being played in a harmonious concert of the Sankirtana, Krishna Sankirtana there. It was a big festival of divine, harmoniously divine Radha Krishna Sankirtana, Radha Krishna Nama Sankirtana. It was a big festival of singing the love songs of Radha Krishna. And the plays of Shankha, plays of the bells, councils, karatals, mridanga, all contributed in that harmonious concert of the Sankirtana. Mridanga, the plays, I repeat, plays of the mridanga, rhythms, beautiful rhymes and rhythms of the mridanga. Mandira, big ghanta, nice melodious sound of the ghanta. Mandira, baje, time to time, conch was being blown by the devotees. Karatal, of course, Karatal was there. So, Sankirtana Sange Sab Haila Misal. The festival of the great festival concert or concert festival, the great concert festival of the Krishna Sankirtana. Now accompanied by, mixed with, filled with the sound vibrations, melodious and rhythmic sound vibrations of the mridanga, karata, ghanta, shankha, dhani, resonance of the concept manifested there in the divine place of Srivas Pandit, in the divine residence of Srivas Pandit. All became so ecstatically live there with taste, ambrosial taste of Krishna Sankirtana. Srivas Pandit himself, what to speak more of Mahaprabhu, Srivas Pandit, all Mahaprabhu's beloved associates surrounding him, participating in that Krishna Sankirtana festival. Even the whole residence, surroundings of the residents of Srivas Pandit all came alive, being in tune with the divine frequency, ambrosial frequency of the ambrosial taste of Krishna Sankirtana. All became alive. tuned with the ecstatic frequency. It was felt. Not only the human beings over there, the human associates of Mahaprabhu, the associates of Mahaprabhu, not only there, these world, surroundings, wherever that divine sound vibration of Krishna Sankirtana spread it, all became awakened, alive. Some transcendental ecstasy. Sankirtana sange sab hoila mishal, therefore Brahmande uthila dhani puriyaya akasha, chaudike raya mangala jai sabonasha. The Krishna Sankirtana, it was such character of the manifestation of Krishna Sankirtana by Mahaprabhu. Brahmande uthila dhani puriya akasha, that this divine sound vibration of Krishna Sankirtana actually pierced through that Sankirtana, divine sound vibration spread it all over the sky, all over the universe in a very fine, subtle way. Spread it all over the universe, it was felt. It did not remain limited only within the jurisdiction, compound wall of these residents of Srivas Pandit, but Brahmande uthila dhani puriya akasha. The way the devotees, the way the associates of Mahaprabhu who are engaged in that Krishna Sankirtana felt, the way all the pure devotees felt, the way Vrindavan Das Thakur felt and described about the realization that the divine sound vibration, transcendental sound vibrations of that wonderful ambrosial Krishna Sankirtan actually pierced through. It pierced through the residents of Srivas Pandit. It went beyond, rose beyond, spread it beyond the limits of the residents of Srivas Pandit and spread it all over the universe. As if spread it all over the universe. As if that voice of Krishna Sankirtana be ringing, spreading and ringing all over the universe and created the ecstatic waves and vibrations throughout the whole universal system. Brahmande Utilottani. They all felt in a very fine, that worked in a very subtle, fine way. And it actually happened. To give some examples, some of the scientific examples give us some idea about, like the radio waves, light waves, radio waves, electromagnetic waves travel. They travel through the ethereal media in the universal system. They don't stay limited only within earthly level. They go beyond. Therefore, they can keep in touch when the astronauts they go. They travel to another planet or another planetary level planets. They can still keep in touch, keep connections through the electromagnetic waves. Radio waves are so subtle, but it is spread so subtle way, fine way. Then what to speak more of the transcendental vibration of the Krishna Sankirtana manifested by Mahaprabhu and Srivas. What to speak more of the glory of that? The character of his glory is far more than all this radioactive energy, radio waves or light waves, electromagnetic waves, far, far beyond that, transcending beyond that, far more powerful than that, in a subtle way, subtle spiritual way. It actually happened. Brahmande uthila dhani puriya akasha, filling not just only this space, but whole spiritual sky, spiritual space, universal space, unlimited multiversal space. To say limitlessly multiversal, not just universal, multi-universal space. Puriya Akasha. And devotees felt that. It was happening. It was happening in such transcendently wonderful way, wonderful realizations they were receiving of that. Such widespread, infinitely widespread divine sound vibrations of Krishna Sankirtana traveling all over the universe and creating the divine vibration all over the universe, the universal system, and feeling that, giving some nectarine taste all over. Brahmane Utila Dhani Puriyaya Akasha. And they also, side by side, they also started feeling Chaudikero Amangalo Jai Shabonasha. They also felt as if all the inauspiciousness, all the bad effects and inauspiciousness instantly began to be destroyed. Instantly began to be destroyed by that holy power, by the holy good power, most effective, divine, auspicious power of the Krishna Sankirtana, sound vibration, Krishna Sankirtana activity. So, by the wonderful, transcendental, auspicious power, divine power of Krishna Sankirtana, all the inauspicious effects, the whole atmosphere, surroundings began to be instantly destroyed. And that's how the devotees were feeling. Not just imaginary poetic way of descriptions, poetically exaggerated way of description, but actually they were feeling that. Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully started that kind, mercifully manifested that quality of Krishna Sankirtan in Srivas Pandita. Avatari, Radha Bhava Duti Subolita. Avatari Krishna appeared as Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this era. No just Jugavatar. So something most wonderful was happening. He was manifesting something most transcendentally wonderful instead of any kind of common activities of Sankirtana. Common type of Sankirtana instead. No. Chaudikero Amangala Jai Shabonash. Chaturdike Sri Hari Mangala Sankirtan. Madhya Nache Jagannatha Misriranandam. Being surrounded, being embraced by the beautifully melodious ambrosia Krishna Sankirtana sound vibrations, Mahaprabhu was simply dancing in blissful love of Radha Krishna, blissful love of Sri Hari. In the middle of his beloved associates, as if embraced by his ecstatic, joyful, beloved associates, absorbed, so much absorbed and immersed in singing the love songs of Lord Hari, holy names of Lord Hari. Mahaprabhu was simply dancing in blissful love, nectarine love, as the center, in a central position. Madhya Nache Jagannatha Misriranandam, the beloved son of Sri Jagannatha Mishra. Sri Jagannatha Mishra was simply dancing in the center, at the center of the devotees, in the middle, inspiring them, immersing, overwhelming overwhelming all his beloved associates, which is also with his own gracious power of ecstasy, potence of ecstasy, Sankirtan ecstasy, okay, towards the beloved associates. Firstly, in the first place, all those beloved associates, intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya, who were surrounding him and chanting and dancing, singing love songs, they were tasting the nectar of the Krishna Sankirtana by itself, what was coming from itself. I repeat, they were, in the first place, they are all absorbed, immersed in tasting, relishing all the chanting and singing of the holy names and love songs about Radha Krishna, okay, which was coming for the Sankirtana itself. Now, moreover, Mahaprabhu himself, the great object and subject of all that Krishna Sankirtana in another form, Mahaprabhu himself was dancing in the middle, center. He became a lord of the center there, actually, of central attraction. All central attraction, central importance. That Lord was moreover, was supplying or producing and supplying and blessing all those devotees with more ambrosial taste of Krishna Sankirtana, which was being produced by him, by his own relish, and also inundating them. Okay? Alongside the ambrosial taste of Krishna Sankirtana, they are deriving directly from the their own Krishna Sankirtana activity. Now Mahaprabhu was also mercifully blessing them more with his own ecstatic relish and embracing them. So they are having double relish. Double, okay? Relish, divine relish, transcendental relish of Krishna Sankirtana. Mahaprabhu is none other than Mahavadana Avatari, Lord. What's the meaning of Mahavadana? Excellently benevolent. Greatly, excellently, supremely benevolent Lord. So some sign, naturally some qualities and signs of his benevolence was being manifested there. In that field of Krishna's ambrosial Krishna Sankirtana activities. Not only he was tasting his own ecstatic Krishna Sankirtana, Mahaprabhu, but also he was also distributing the same taste among his beloved associates and doubly, triply maddening them with that ambrosial relish. Madhya nache Jagannatha Misrera Nandanam. Then read the lines after that.
Number 5.
After that,
Ushakala Aitengritya.
I think this is the longer portion of the description.
Number 4. Brahmanda Bedila Dvani Puriya Akash. This you said already.
Chaudikar Amangala Jai Sabanasha Chaturdike Sri Harina
Number 5.
Hari Mangala Sankirtan Madhya Nachi Jagannatha Visera Nandan. Anyway, there is a long version and short version of this. I am talking of the short version. If I go on explaining long version, whole night will be covered. So, Mridangha Madhya Nachi Jagannatha Visera Nandan Savarayangite Sobi, something like that. Savarayangite Sobi Si Chandana Mala Anande Nachoye Sabi Haiya Vibhola. Everyone's form are decorated with the chandana, pulp of the chandana, and flower garlands. And everybody was engaged, everybody was absorbed in chanting and dancing, with blissful love of Lord Hari. Anande nachoye sabe hoiya vibhola. I mean, Hriya Vibhola, being overwhelmed in that blissful love of Lord Hari, Radha Krishna, they all danced, Yes. Say, you're saying something?
No, because I tell him the number.
C'est quoi le premier verset?
Shri Hari Vasare.
Non, le premier. Commence comment?
Ça commence par Shri Hari
Shri Hari, ok.
Vasare.
Then Nijanande Nache Mahaprabhu Vishambharo Charanera Tali Suni Oti Manoharo. So thus, Sriman Mahaprabhu was engaged, absorbed, to be dancing with his own divine ecstatic love of Krishna. Thus, Lord Gaurahari continued, remain absorbed in dancing, singing, in the ecstatic Krishna prema, own ecstatic Krishna prema. Then at the same time, Charanera Tali Suni Ati Manohara. In the process of dancing of Gaurahari, in the rhythm, rhymes and rhythm of the dancing of Lord Gaurahari, a wonderful sound came out from the dancing activity due to the dancing conflicts of the both his feet, holy foot. Like we do like this, it can also be done like that. Charanera Tali. These sounds emerged, sounds came out from his dancing holy feet. Some rhythmic sounds, beautiful rhythmic sounds emerged, came out from the dancing activity of his holy feet. In this way, this is a long version. Just
which number?
Let me explain this short version. I just explained verse 200. Nijanande Nache Mahaprabhu Vishambhara Charanera Tala Suni Ati Manohara. Then Bhavo Bhare Mala Nahi Rahoye Galaya Chindiya Paroye Giya Bhakotera Paya. In the mode, in the mode of energetic dancing, in the mode of irresistible dancing rhythms, all the flower garlands which are swaying around their neck could not stay intact. They all got broken due to the powerful dance, due to the powerful waves of the dancing activities. The flower garlands got broken at some point, and all the flowers, they flew, they sprang up, they were flown to the limbs, flown to the bodies, forms of other devotees surrounding Mahaprabhu. How do you say? The flowers are being scattered on the bodies of the associates of Mahaprabhu who was dancing also, surrounding their Lord. Chindiya Paroegiya Bhakotero Gayo. On their body, on their feet also. Flowers are as if falling on the feet, touching the holy feet of Mahaprabhu's devotees. I already explained about this. Chaturdike Sri Hari Mangala Sankirtan Majhe Nache Jagannath Misra Nandan, already explained. Jar Namanande Shiva Vasana na jane, Jar Rashe Nache Shiva Se Nache Apane. See, it's a repetition of the same ambrosial love experience. See, not only I am repeating, it's repeated by the devotees. So what I can do, I also have to be repeating and repeating without having enough taste. It's never become enough, therefore repetition comes. So one of the main reasons why the repetitions of the similar descriptions appear in the writings, in the singings of the pure devotees, because they feel it's never enough. The taste is never enough. No matter how much they are describing, narrating the same glory, same quality, same nature, it's never enough. They are repeating again in another words, another language. The love of tasting it again and again, endlessly, through repetitions, in different forms and words. See, there's so much repetitions of ecstasy and love and Sankirtan all over this devotional song. Chanting, singing, dancing, okay, ecstasy, ecstatic taste of love for Radha Krishna, for Lord Hari, all are repeated, coming back again and again, different words, different forms, different ways. Again, now it's being spoken, now it's being expressed in connection, in relation to Lord Shiva. Jar nama nande Shiva vasana na jani, Jar rase nache Shiva se nache apani. Absorbed in the bliss of Sri Hari's name, Shiva becomes oblivious to his own clothing. He whose glories impel Shiva to dance in ecstasy also dances himself. The same Mahaprabhu himself also dancing. Jar namanande Shiva vasana na jane, Jar rase nache Shiva se nache apani. Being affected, being blessed by whose ecstatic feelings of holy names, ecstatic feelings of singing by whose holy name Lord Shiva often forgets to wear his clothes. But he doesn't care about even wearing his clothes. So overwhelmed with ecstasy, maddening ecstasy, he doesn't care about all these external things, external duties of wearing clothes or doing this, doing that. So, by the transcendental effect, ecstatic power, transcendental power of whose holy name Lord Shiva often forgets and doesn't care about even wearing his clothes. He just becomes naked and he becomes absorbed in singing and dancing in a naked way, meaning that I am now transcendental to all worldly etiquette, worldly considerations, that to wear clothes or not wearing clothes and beyond it.
But we cannot imitate.
Of course, you should never imitate. Exactly, you should never imitate. So by whose glory all these things happening with Lord Shiva? That same Lord himself now is overwhelmed in ecstatic dances. at the center, surrounded by his beloved associates. Mahaprabhu Gaurahari himself is now dancing there. Jar name Valmiki hoila tapodhana, jar name ajamila paila mochana. So before I go back to the point of Mridanga Mandira Baji, I just felt like explaining more on Mridanga play, but then I missed that point, so it's coming back in my mind. So you know, Mridanga is also compared with Brihat Mridanga. So in that Sankirtan, the way the Mridanga was being played was not ordinary play of the Mridanga. The rhymes and the rhythm of Mridanga, play of the Mridanga was so divine that it was thrilling, it was bringing thrilling experience. The rhymes and the rhythms of the Mridanga was contributing into the rhythms of their dance, ecstatic dance. Thrill dance. You know, those who attend some very attractive musical concerts, they know how it feels like. They love to dance with the rhythms of different musical instruments, drum and other guitar, and they feel certain waves of joy to dance with the rhythms of the drums played in big concerts, accompanied by guitars and other musical instruments. And they know how it feels, you know, how that rhythms, rhymes and rhythms feel, accompanied by the other musical instruments being played. Some of them also describe, we're having thrills. They also take some little bit of intoxication. And they flow, the dance of big musical concert. And they feel thrills. If that happens even in the ordinary mundane musical concerts, then what to speak more of the taste, experience of this divine Krishna Sankirtana festival, manifested by Mahaprabhu. Multiplied ecstatic experience, blissful experience compared to ordinary mundane musical concerts. Now how can it be? How the mridanga, rhythms of the mridanga created the waves of joy, thrills in their heart. We cannot really explain, beyond explanation. I went back to explain that it was no ordinary way of mridanga playing and rhythms and ordinary dance. Much more than that. I cannot finish the whole. I also like to touch on Shuddha Bhagavata Charanavedi. Then 2 more hours will take. Now it's Arati time. 7:30 Arati time.
15 minutes. She is making offering now.
Offering. Can we also continue after Arati? No.
After Arati?
Yes, it is possible. Up to 8 o'clock.
Of course. As you like.
Mahaprasado Seva Korite Hoyo Shakalo Prapancha Jayo. After Arati, devotees will be so devoted to Mahaprasada after Arati instead of hearing Harikatha.
But today, fasting.
Full fasting. Some devotees are doing full fasting. Some devotees are going to honor Mahaprasada also. Maybe who want to do. So.
Nothing.
Glories of taking Mahaprasadam also there in the song of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. In the song Shuddha Bhagavata Charanavedi. Alright, so যার নামে বাল্মীকি হইলা তপোধন, যার নামে অজামিল পাইল মোচন, যার নাম শ্রবণে সংসার বন্ধ ঘুচে, হেন প্রভু অবতরী কলিযুগে নাচে। I just feel like simply reading the translation instead of elaborate explanation because of the limited time. So, by his name, Valmiki, great Rishi Valmiki achieved the wealth of austerity. And by his name, Ajamila received deliverance.
How the translation good?
I don't want to say much. It must be literal translation. But Tapodhana means more than this wealth of austerity. But it's more literally translated. I understand. Literally translated. Tapodhana also means the great wealth, great treasure of all the tapasvis who were doing the tapasya. Means Valmiki Rishi was foremost of all the rishis, tapasvi, tapodhana. He used to be considered as the foremost, as the great treasure of all the persons engaged in tapasya. It also means that, tapodhanam. Also tapodhana means যার নামে বাল্মীকি হইলা তপোধনম। The great devotee, by whose name, by the holy effect, by the divine effects of whose holy name, Valmiki was transformed, was elevated, was converted into great pure devotee, exalted devotee. Now, here tapasya means holy renunciation, holy austerity. It also means holy devotion, because in the process of devotion we also make some sacrifice. In the process of dedication, devotion, certain portions of the dedication, certain certain activities or portions of the devotional activities containing holy penance, sacrifice, tapasya. In other words, certain parts of our loving devotional services also including pure dedication, sacrifice, devotion. So that is also tapasya. In the far-reaching sense, unbridled sense of meaning, here tapasya also means some sacrificing, dedicating the service. Service dedication, tapasya. Rendering also that quality of service, not only, I repeat, rendering that quality of service not only performed through comforts, but also through some sacrificing dedication, through some happy austerity, not only performed in a comfortable way, but also through joyful austerities. Tapasya here. Holy austerities mean happy austerities, joyful austerities, not with the resentment. Then it will defeat the purpose. People will be wondering, what is joyful austerity? It can only be found in the world of devotion, devotional love, not in any other world. Because austerity means austerity. It generally doesn't become joyful or happy. But it's only possible in the transcendental world. transcendental world of transcendental experience, transcendental world of loving devotional experience. There, devotees are even happy. Devotees also become so happy and joyful even to take some austerity for the Lord. Take some penance, having some penance for the Lord. They've got so much love. So, sometimes Guru Varga gave examples. Sleeping mother taking care of her babies. Although her sleep being broken again and again at the night time, baby is waking her up. So it's an austere thing for the mother. They know, the nurturing mother knows how austere is it. Cannot properly be sleeping in the night time, cannot be all the time occupied by the babies. So her sleep being broken again and again, she is waking up, taking care of her baby, and then again going back to sleep again, broken. But although it's austerity for her, but she is doing happily. She is doing it happily to take care of her babies. But she cannot be happily, peacefully sleeping and babies are crying. She cannot do it. Then that would be more real painful austerity, unhappy. Rather, she is happy to sacrifice her sleep to take care of the baby instead of sleeping, ignoring the baby. Cannot do it. One example of austerity, happy way of taking austerity. Because she has got so much love for her baby. She cannot be happily sleeping while the baby is crying, needing. Rather, she is happy to sacrifice her sleep to take care of the baby. There can be many other such examples. When one beloved makes some sacrifice for another beloved, although making sacrifice, a sacrifice, but he does it or she does it happily. Take some pleasure, special pleasure, to do some sacrifice for his or her beloved because he loves her. Okay? She loves him so much. Austerity no more remains as real austerity. Then what to speak more of doing in connection with Krishna, in love of Krishna, in love with Krishna, in love with Srimati Radhika. Devotional love with Krishna. Devotional love means it's not just lovely love, it's a devoted love. Devoted love often has some sacrifice, dedication, activities of dedication. When the Braja Gopis, the epitome example, one of the epitome examples is that as described in the Holy Scripture, when Braja Gopis ran towards Krishna, being irresistibly attracted by the flute sounds, flute musics of Krishna. When the Braja Gopis ran towards him through the dark night, through the forest, their feet were tortured, their feet being tortured by the stones and thorns on the road. In the dark night, stormy night, they were walking, running through the forest in the dark night, and their feet were bleeding, their bodies getting torn, scratched by the thorny branches of the tree, their feet getting hurt by the thorns and rough stones, sharp stones, and bleeding, having so much austerity, but it is called Abhisharo mood. But they are in the mood of Abhisharo, running towards the beloved in extreme love, intense love. So there are all the bodily austerities, physical austerities they are taking, could not make them unhappy. They are just so happy, they are just simply happy and joyful to take all such painstaking austerity, to be united, to run towards their beloved, to be united with their beloved. One of the epitome examples of how austerities, penance can also be so joyful.
Maharaj, we are talking about Valmiki austerity. Is it when he is trying to chant Ram Ram? Is it this kind of austerity?
No, not only that. Not only, I mean, that was a portion of holy austerity in the beginning, but as soon as, at some advanced stage, as soon as he started finding taste, having the nectarine taste from the chanting of holy Rama name, Rama Nam, then it was no more austerity for Valmiki Devi, because now it was being so source of joy. He was tasting it so much, relishing so much. No more austerity at that time. But in the beginning, when he was like Ratnakara Dashu, great dacoit Ratnakara, notorious Ratnakara, and he was not qualified to be chanting holy name, but he was ordered by Sri Gurudev Devarshi Narada, so he just started doing it. So in the beginning, very initial stage, it was a bit austerity. It was austerity because he was dacoit. His constitutional nature was so much in the mode of tamoguna and rajoguna. So holy names didn't come. It was a bit austerity to chant the holy name for a while. It did not come out properly. But then, by some special grace of the Devarshi Narada, by some special merciful gracious grant, by and by, he started having taste in chanting Rama name. Then it was no more austerity. But here, the functions of his austerity is mostly the way he was doing tapasya, sitting in the jungle under a tree, sitting under a tree in the forest, without eating, drinking, and just with wearing simple clothes, and going on, continuing throughout different climatic changes, heat and cold, not caring about the thirst and hunger, all these. And in the forest, surrounded by different creatures, insects, still he was absorbed in doing tapasya. He was like an ascetic yogi. There's some ascetic character in his performance of sadhana. Performance of the sadhana, while after receiving the holy name, Rama name, and as he sat down under a tree in that forest, and like an ascetic yogi, he started doing his sadhana, only exclusively dedicating to concentrate, exclusively dedicating, devoting to the chanting of the holy Rama name, holy Rama Nam, without caring about eating, drinking, wearing nice clothes, or caring about the changing climates, heat and cold. So sometimes passing through scorching heat, shivering cold. Insects are surrounding, sometimes biting him, but he was unmoved. He still remained unmoved, absorbed in chanting holy name of Ramachandra, Ram, 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 Ram. And at some point he became so blissful. He started receiving so much nectarine taste from the chanting and singing Rama Nam, holy name of Lord Rama. All these bodily consciousness were forgotten. He forgot. He could easily skip. He could easily ignore all his bodily sensations. Well and whole. It became secondary, it became all like irrelevant to him. He became so absorbed in the level of his soul to be chanting and singing the holy Rama Nam, and receiving so much taste and power of nectar, taste of nectar, power of nectar from the holy name, chanting and singing the holy name of the Lord Rama, Rama Nam. So, all the physical austerities became irrelevant to him. Means he was absorbed in the inner way, no more externally sensitive so much. So that also helped him to be surviving and continuing in that ascetic way. Tapasya. After the Arati, I could not explain Tapodhanam yet to come back. Or just in brief way, I explain here Tapodhanam means Tapodhana has twofold meanings here. One fold meaning, Tapodhanam, means one, that tapasvi who was considered to be the treasure of all other tapasvis among the tapasvi, the performer of the tapasya, who was considered to be the treasure house among other tapasvi who performed that tapasya activity. Tapodhanam. Other fold of the meaning, Tapodhanam. Jaro name Valmiki hoila Tapodhanam. By the effect of whose holy name Valmiki Rishi at some point was considered, was realized to be the great treasure of all the tapasvis and also he himself became filled with all the ambrosia, all the nectarine objects, treasure of all the tapasya he was doing. Tapodhanam, that he himself became filled with the nectarine treasure of the supreme object of all his tapasya, for what he was, Ramonam. So, both folds of the meanings. Tapodhanam. He became himself filled with that dhanam means treasure, nectarine treasure of the object of his tapasya. The treasure which was the final object, supreme object of all his holy austerities, penance, taking. Holy Ramonam. Hare Krishna.
Like sadhanam,
Sadhanam.
also the wealth
Yes.
of the practice.
Treasure, wealth of the sadhanam.
Yeah.
Yes. Also that.
Saraswami means all Kupampala. Saraswami.
No, Sharo Goswami, Shad Goswami.
Oh, Sad Goswami.
6 Goswami.
Acha.
So, in pronunciation because Sar. We don't exactly, in Bengali pronunciation, we don't say Shad Goswami. Shar.
Oh, okay.
Shad Goswami. Sar means
D.
6.
D.
Yes. Sar means 6.
Sar.
Like Gauriya. Shad. So, we don't say Gaudiya, Gauriya.
Yeah, it's like a sari, it's not sari.
Sari. Shad Goswami means 6. Sar means 6.
Ah.
I found their picture on the altar, so.
Shri Maharaj ki jai. Now it is the Sri Krishna Prayasi Namo Namah
Sri Krishna Prayasi Namo
Radha Krishna
Radha Krishna
Srivas together.
Krishna Bhakti Any other program now?
He's preparing something, cooking.
Okay.
You go on also? You will go on also with the...
You can go on briefly, can go on until the offering is complete. Offering finished, so you will be closing. Okay.
Hey, Maharaj, I wanted to ask one question about songs. Because we're chanting mainly Bhakti Vinod songs and Narottam Das Thakur songs. But what about in time of Chaitanya and before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Do we have, for example, what kind of song the Vaishnava was chanting in Mongol Arti or evening time? What kind of songs? We never heard about any other song than those ones, but there must have been some song chanting during Kirtan. So, what was this song? Where are they? How can we know about them? Many questions in one question.
Okay. Where are the devotees? They are coming? Other devotees?
He's doing potato seva.
What is there?
Halu seva.
Tu veux traduire un peu la question?
Est-ce que
Maybe
tu veux traduire?
all the devotees may come once. We want to have a group picture. Okay, loving memory. Before they leave. Before someone leaves.
Abi?
Happy. Group picture. Otherwise everybody will leave.
Tu peux traduire ta question en français, peut-être? La question que tu as
Oui,
posée
c'est
à
une
Maharaj.
picture.
Oh,
De Baba,
ma question c'était,
Then
on chante pour l'instant des chants de Bhakti Vinod et Narottam Das Thakur, mais qu'en était-il avant eux, c'est-à-dire du temps du Seigneur Chaitanya lui-même, et même avant Chaitanya? Et certainement il faisait Mongol Arti, mais quel chant donc il chantait? Puisque nous on est exclusivement fixés sur leurs chants. Et donc voilà, c'était la question, quelles étaient les sortes de chants qu'ils chantaient avant? Est-ce qu'on l'a...
have a group picture, then you go. Maharaj, please come.
Qu'est-ce qu'il a dit alors? Il n'a pas répondu.
Ben, il n'y a pas.
All devotees. All you also come for group picture. After leaving, then nobody will be here.
Yeah.
On va prendre une photo de groupe.
Let's take that opportunity.
Who is taking the picture?
Ouais, je comprends.
Vas-y, Bab.
You also come. She also comes.
Sham.
Shama, Shama.
Prends une photo de groupe.
Photo, picture.
Photo session. Please come here.
There.
Ah, Jewish, ah, Jewish.
As you wish.
Les magazines.
Okay, as you wish.
Ah,
All should be covered.
The big cheese. Small cheese.
La Sylvie.
One, two. 1, 2, 3. Jai-ho. Jai-ho.
Allez, allez, Nitaigo, le Premanande.
So you cannot be in the picture, you.
Je vais prendre la photo.
je croyais que tu étais sur une plateforme.
You may also come. You may also come and stand.
Tu me regardes.
Ah ouais, mais il n'y avait pas de Jagannath sur la photo.
Ok.
Ah ouais.
Tu y vas un autre livre?
Ah ouais.
Non, Jagannath sur la photo.
D'accord, bon, je vais prendre la photo.
J'ai changé l'hiver.
L'eau.
J'ai changé l'eau.
L'eau.
Et ça, pas besoin de faire demain matin.
Do not exactly be blocking the deities. So
Non, attention, mais pas que tu dis, very good.
Est-ce que tu vas cacher un fauteuil?
yes,
Vas-y, c'est ok.
yes.
Non,
yes.
je vais ici.
Allez,
Ah,
1, 2, 3, c'est parti.
Jai-ho, Nitaigo, Haribo, Jai-ho, Sirale.
Jai.
Mahaprabhu.
Jai Jai Radha Krishna du beau long.
Okay, now Prabhuji, what's his name?
Prasanatma. Prasanatma.
Prasannatma. Bhagavad Prasannatma.
Yes.
Almost.
He's always sad.
Atma. Prasannatma. Atma Rama.
Tu vas répondre à la question.
So let me hear your question again. I mean pinpoint question. Please
So what was the songs was chanted before those Acharya? What kind of Mongol artis they was chanting before Narottam Das Thakur, before Bhakti Vinod Thakur? We know them, we know only their songs, but there must have been other song Mongol arti and other important songs. But it looks like there is nothing passing down. We don't know anything about those songs who was chanted before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or even during the time of Mahaprabhu, because Narottam came, I don't know how many years after, but so during Mahaprabhu's time, what was the Mongol artist song or other songs? Do we know about that, or
Good question.
You want to translate that?
Alors la question c'est que quels étaient les chants qu'il chantait avant Chaitanya Mahaprabhu et pendant Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jusqu'à Narottam Das Thakur et Bhaktivinoda Thakur, puisqu'on ne connaît que leurs chants, donc quels sont ces chants? Est-ce qu'on a une réminiscence de ces chants, etc.
Well, some about that are found, some of the traditional songs which used to be sung in a traditional parampara way could be traced out, found out. But we also don't know, we do not have much information about that. But some of the songs which used to be sung before Mangal Arati, during Mangal Arati, after Mangal Arati or evening Arati or other times can be found out in a traditional way through other tradition.
Not in our Sampradaya, not in our Gaudiya.
Maybe is it Mahaprabhu introduced the Mangalati?
Okay, let me begin from the Chatush Sampradaya. Our Sampradaya recognized by Mahaprabhu.
Il disait c'est pas facile de savoir ce qui s'est passé avant, on ne connaît pas vraiment, mais ça pourrait quand même être recherché et retrouvé.
So in Sri Sampradaya, Sri Brahma, Shanak, Sri Brahma Rudra Shanak, 4 Sampradayas. So there are some songs sung in a traditional way even from the time before Mahaprabhu. We find.
On peut trouver des chants traditionnels même avant Mahaprabhu.
Okay, it is in their list. When we go to look for, go to make research, it can be found in a traditional way from the time of Ramanujacharya, Madhacharya, Vishnushrami, Nimbarpacharya, they introduced some songs for Mangalarati and other times.
Les grands acharyas du passé, Ramanuja, etc., avaient des chants, des chants d'arti et tout ça, donc ça pourrait être retrouvé.
But in our Brahma Madhva, but Gauri or Vaishnava line, we do not really find much records about the history of how and which devotional songs were actually being sung before Mahaprabhu or at the time of Mahaprabhu. We don't find much history.
Donc on n'a pas vraiment d'historique des chants qui étaient chantés avant ou même pendant Mahaprabhu.
It is understood. So, since there is no clear records of the history of how or which songs used to be sung during Mangal Arati, noon Arati, evening Arati, or other time during Parikrama, since no record is found, so we don't really know about. Okay.
On n'y avait pas d'enregistrement, finalement on ne peut pas vraiment savoir ce qui se passait, ce qui était vraiment chanté pendant les différents artis de la journée.
But what is clearly understood is that some of the devotional songs used to be sung by the devotees during the time of Arati or Parikrama or other festival functions more in a spontaneous way. Nothing was really standardized in a fixed way.
C'était plutôt chanté d'une manière spontanée. Il n'y avait pas vraiment de standard préconisé pour ces chants. C'était plutôt chanté d'une manière spontanée.
I mean, there were some specific songs sung in a spontaneous, according to the spontaneous feelings of the singers, devotees, but there were no such hard and fast rules. There was no such hard and fast rule of singing certain particular songs during Mangal Arati, evening, noon Arati, evening Arati or Parikrama time. they would be following more spontaneous flow of their heart and singing any devotional songs as befitting, harmonious to their mood of devotion at that time. Okay, nothing was really standardized in a very fixed way.
Donc il n'y avait pas vraiment de standardisation du chant, c'était plutôt chanté d'une manière spontanée et les dévots chantaient suivant leur propre humeur ou le moment que l'artiste faisait et suivant leur propre humeur aussi. Il n'y avait pas de règles fixes.
Not only what to speak more of before Mahaprabhu, even after, I mean at the time of Mahaprabhu, during Mahaprabhu's manifest Leela, manifest presence, the way we find the descriptions or how the devotional songs are being sung, how the devotional songs are being sung, following the spontaneous mood, nothing like fixed. Mahaprabhu would be directing, like Swarup Goswami Rai Ramananda, to be singing particular songs from the Vaishnava Padavali. This time, certain particular songs, another time, another songs, according to the mood, bhava. And Swarup Goswami Rai Ramananda would be singing that kind of songs, those types of songs following the mood of Mahaprabhu.
Donc Mahaprabhu dirigeait, on peut dire, un petit peu les chanteurs dans différents chants qui étaient soit qu'ils inventaient, ils étaient inspirés à les chanter, soit ils prenaient des différentes padavalis, des différentes écritures Vaishnav qui existaient avant eux, par exemple le Gita Govinda ou d'autres chants qui existaient depuis des centaines d'années. Donc ça se passait comme ça, c'était plutôt dirigé d'une manière beaucoup plus spontanée.
See, this is the way we find the descriptions about singing songs through Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavata. This is the way. Nothing was really fixed, no fixed standard. Follow the dynamic moods, more living dynamic moods of Mahaprabhu and other devotees, and they sang accordingly.
Oui, donc ils chantaient d'une manière qui s'accordait à leur propre humeur de l'instant. Il n'y avait rien de standardisé, fixe, etc. comme aujourd'hui où on chante certains chants à certains moments avec une certaine mélodie, etc. Avant, c'était beaucoup plus libre, on pourrait dire.
See, so we don't find any, again, another word, we don't find any such description in Chaitanya Charitamrita, through Chaitanya Bhagavata or Murari Gupta's Karcha or Swarup Damodar Prabhu's Karcha, like that there was any fixed standard of singing this particular song during Arati, that particular Parikrama, no.
And it is
spontaneous, follow spontaneous mood.
Yeah.
But somewhat standardizations began from the time of Mahaprabhu. Some society, like when Basu Ghosha, there are many divine associates of Mahaprabhu. During the time of Mahaprabhu, there are many divine associates. So they used to be continuing, they used to be rendering or continuing worshipping in their own house come temple. For example, like Raghava Pandit, okay, there are many householder devotees with some deity worshipping in their house, temple, house come temple programs. Okay, so the devotees from Sikhanda, then Raghava Pandit, then Sri Narahari, the Sikhanda, Basu Ghosh, Govinda Das, also in the house of Kaviraj Goswami, Krishna Das, Kaviraj Goswami, the Vrindavan Das Thakur, and in the house of the Panchatattva, of course, Sri Advaita Prabhu, Madhadhar Prabhu, Srivas Pandit, Lord Nityananda was Avadhuta. So, then yes, the way Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, the 6 Goswamis worshipped the Archana and they sang certain devotional songs during Arati, Parikrama. So it started becoming standardized, but again no clear record found, no clear history found which songs they exactly sang during Arati or Parikrama or other times.
Donc il y avait, en fait ça a commencé avant, c'était plus dans le domaine du spontané. À partir de Chaitanya, ça a commencé à être un petit peu mis en régularisé par des dévots comme Vasudev Ghosh, Narahari et puis Rup Goswami, tout ça, qu'on commençait à écrire des chants, donc on commençait à être chantés de cette manière-là. Mais ça n'a pas été vraiment enregistré, institutionalisé dans les écritures. This is one question also. Why in Chaitanya, Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavad, they don't quote some song? For example, no, it's Arti in Shiva Sangam. What they don't quote? Oh, there was something this song. They never do
because
this.
They felt, because there was no such necessities they felt. I repeat, there were no such necessities they felt to standardize or fix some songs, because there are many substitute songs, So they rather prefer to be following the spontaneous ways. But only somewhat standardizations or fixing, planning out began from the time of Srivas, Narottam, Shyamananda Prabhu, three main acharyas, because they were actively in the preaching fields. They are introducing some scripture and structures in some discipline and system because of their preaching in their sampradaya. So it began at that time. But again, we don't know, they know. Then we have to go there and ask them how they are following in their parampara, the parampara of Srinivasa, Narottam, Shyamananda Prabhu. And thereafter some parampara, in the parampara, through the traditional flow, we find some standardized songs, some songs already standardized and fixed coming down in Babaji parampara or other parampara coming down.
Donc c'est bien après Chaitanya Mahaprabhu que les chants se sont standardisés avec des auteurs comme Narottam Das Thakur, Govinda Das et plus tard encore, donc qui ont commencé à organiser ces chants avec certaines mélodies, certaines façons de les chanter, tout ça. Avant ça, c'était tout d'une manière spontanée. How many years?
See, like Radhakunda Babajis or Vrindavana Babajis, or in the family lineage of spiritual family lineage of Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Vangsha, Advaita Vangsha, Gadadhara, Sri Gadadhara Pandit's lineage, this way, we find some traditional ways they follow. But again, we do not know about how they have been following in their parampara, exactly which songs they sang during Arati, Parikrama or other times. But they definitely had some formats, some discipline formats, certain way, although it's not followed by Gaudiya Math. Gaudiya Math was all this standardized during the time of Bhakti Thakur, Saraswati Thakur. Period. What standard we are following today, traditional way, all finally all fixed, planned, designed by Thakur Bhaktivinoda, and then more particularly it was fixed by Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Okay. And then thereafter we also find Guru Vargas also took, next generation Guru Varga also took their license, took some liberty to introduce different songs in different ways according to their mood.
To organize the Sankirtan.
Right. The order, chronological order and system disciplines.
And now Chaitanya was more about ecstasy, pure ecstasy. There was nobody could recall because it was only
spontaneous.
Yeah.
Spontaneous devotional song.
Testing the rats.
Yes. No fixed standard was there. No fixed form, a system of songs. This song must be sung after this. No chronological order. During Mahaprabhu's time and even also afterwards, among the associates of Mahaprabhu, many Haridas associates, they followed the spontaneous ways of singing of the devotional songs without a fixed standard.
Donc, la vraiment standardisation des chants des bhajans s'est accomplie après Narottam Das Thakur. Et puis, véritablement, nous, ce qu'on connaît, c'est à travers Bhaktivinoda Thakur qui a vraiment classifié tous les bhajans et puis véritablement finalisé et d'une manière acceptable par Bhaktisiddhanta qui a ensuite diffusé ce que son père Bhaktivinoda avait fait. Donc c'est véritablement, en fait c'est nouveau le fait de standardiser les bhajans comme ça, comme on connaît nous aujourd'hui, comme on les chante aujourd'hui. Auparavant, donc c'était seulement du spontané, suivant l'humeur, suivant, ça sortait tout seul. Après, peut-être vu avec le Kali qui grandissait, peut-être ça a été mis sous.
So during Mahaprabhu's time and afterwards also, he followed. Devotees followed. Mahaprabhu himself followed, and also devotees, his associates also followed more Ragomargo. Ragomargo way rather than strict Vidhimargo way, regarding which songs must be sung during Arati or Parikrama. Okay, they followed the path of revelation, spontaneous revelation of the mood, devotional mood, and sang accordingly. Specifically during the time of Mahaprabhu, the way Mahaprabhu directed. There was no vidhi, strong vidhi about that, stricture and structure. You must be singing only this song during this mood. Rather we find, according to the mood of Mahaprabhu, according to spontaneous, loving devotional mood of Mahaprabhu asking Swarup Damodar, Rai Ramananda, Vasu Ghosh, to be singing certain songs from the Vaishnava Padavali, composed by Chandidas or Vidyapati, then Gyanodas or Gita Govindam, the author of Gita Sri Jayadeva Prabhu, in this way. And they would be singing accordingly, according to the mood, as befitting to the mood of Mahaprabhu. In this way. That's how it came, that's how it flowed.
Mahaprabhu demandait à ses dévots qui étaient autour de lui, Vasudev Ghosh, Narahari, et les grands dévots qui étaient là, de chanter des chants spécifiques des acharyas précédents comme Jayadev, Vidyapati, Chandidas, etc., qui avaient déjà des chants depuis des centaines d'années. Donc il utilisait ces chants pour chanter de cette manière-là.
Pour nourrir l'humeur de Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So all these standardizations through parampara all began later, much later. So up to Mahaprabhu's manifestation, much later.
There is one song tell in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is Harihalaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya.
But not the full song. We don't
No,
know
not the full song. Only this
as we
first
sing
line.
today. That was more added and more, how to say, reorganized, rearranged and recomposed and made it up. Make up the whole
But it
song.
is said.
Krishna,
Yeah, it is said.
Krishna, hey also. This is there.
Yes.
And also
Songs
Nishigara
like Krishna,
also.
Krishna, 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 He, Krishna, 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 He, Krishna, 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 Rakshamam, Krishna Kesava, Krishna Kesava, Krishna Kesava, Pahimam, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam, Krishna Kesava, Krishna Kesava, Krishna Kesava, Pahimam. This was spontaneously composed by Mahaprabhu. We do not find any other author to compose this. Mahaprabhu instantly. Sriman Mahaprabhu also instantly, spontaneously composed some songs, short songs.
Jai Jai Nishingo, Shri Nishingo, Jai Jai Nishingare, Praladesha Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma,
Also composed by Mahaprabhu according to many. Okay, even Jagannathastakam. Jagannathastakam also got spontaneously composed by Mahaprabhu. Some say by Shankaracharya, some say by Mahaprabhu. Because so much Vrindavana Leela, Vrindavana pastimes is described through Jagannathastakam. So it could not but be Mahaprabhu's mood rather than Shankaracharya mood.
Donc, je disais, c'est enregistré dans le Chaitanya Charitamrita, ce chant, enfin le début du chant, Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaye Namaha, mais après ça a été composé par d'autres, enfin ajouté par d'autres acharyas. Et donc plusieurs chants comme ça ont été introduits aussi, Krishna, 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 hey! Ce chant-là aussi était spontanément venu des lèvres de Mahaprabhu. Aussi, Prabhu disait Jai Nishinga, Shri Nishinga, Jai Jai Nishinga, c'est aussi venu directement de Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pendant ces différentes humeurs. Et puis aussi le chant Jagannathastakam. Donc le Jagannathastakam qu'on a dans le livre de chants ici, certains disent que ça a été composé par Shankaracharya, mais certains disent que ça a été composé spontanément par Sriman Mahaprabhu. Donc différents chants comme ça sortaient et étaient chantés par tous les dévots.
Besides that, he also found Sriman Mahaprabhu, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also spontaneously composed some of the wonderful verses instantly. Apart from the verses, Siksastakam, of course, including the verses of Siksastakam, they will be composed by Mahaprabhu. So, other verses like Dadimatana Ninadai Stakta Nidha Prabhati, Navita Padamagarang Ballavi Nang Pravishta, Mukhakamala Shamirai Rasu Nirbhakta Deepan Kavalita, Ravanita Patumang Bala Krishna. Verses, couple of verses composing glorification of Bala Gopal Krishna. Another verse, Sabbe Pano Niyamitarabam Kinkini Damadhritva Kubji Bhuyak Prapadagati Bhirmanda Mandam Bihasha Aknor Bhangya Bihashita Mukhi Bharayana Sammukhina Matu Aschat Aharata Hare Chatu Hiram Govinam. Other verse like Gangastav Chidananda Bhanu Shadananda Shuna Paraprema Patri Drava Brahma Gatri Aghanama Laghitri Jagat Kshema Dhatri Pavitri Kriyanno Bapur Vitra Putri, and so on. So these were several other verses were composed by Mahaprabhu in a spontaneous way, and they have been recorded, they have been compiled by Rupa Goswami Prabhu. Okay. And he recorded it.
Donc différents versets comme Maharaj, je ne répéterai pas les versets qu'il a dit, mais plein de versets sortaient spontanément de la bouche de Mahaprabhu. Ils ont été enregistrés par Rupa Goswami qui les a écrits. Mais c'était pour montrer que différents chants sortaient spontanément de Mahaprabhu et les introduisait comme ça pendant les chants.
And including that also Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Krishna.
On chantait avant ça pendant les harinam, ça a passé de moi de ça. Tu chantes ça? Jamais je chante ça.
And it is understood Mahaprabhu, Sriman Mahaprabhu most naturally composed many other verses, but they were not recorded. They could not be recorded, found out.
Mahaprabhu a certainement composé plein d'autres versets, mais qui n'ont pas été enregistrés.
It is naturally supposed, naturally expected that a great scholarly personality like Lord Gauranga must have composed many other wonderful verses spontaneously. But he himself released it spontaneously, but they were not taken down, not written down or recorded. So,
in Sanatana Goswami Shiksha, one is glorifying the beauty of Krishna. So many verses are coming out.
yes, spontaneously.
Beautiful. Il sera une drôle et
Rupa Goswami Prabhu, Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, unfortunately, to our great fortune, they recorded some of the verses directly composed by Mahaprabhu instantly revealed. The verses are composed through revelation, not like Mahaprabhu sat down, held the pen and paper and wrote down. Upsurged through revelation, upsurging through revelations in the form of beautiful poetic verses.
Je crois qu'il a sorti quelque chose.
Oui, il
Ah,
avait,
des
avant que
versets.
tu parles, il avait déjà dit quelque chose.
Il a répété ce qu'il avait dit.
Il a répété un peu.
Et toi, qu'est-ce que t'as dit?
Mais moi j'avais dit que aussi quand Mahaprabhu a glorifié le Seigneur Krishna, la beauté de Krishna dans les enseignements, dans ses enseignements qu'il donnait à Sanatana Goswami aussi. Tout un tas de versets dans le Chaitanya Charitamrita qui sont décrits. Mahaprabhu qui spontanément décrit la beauté de Krishna comme ça pendant beaucoup de versets comme ça. Des fois prenons le Bhagavatam. Sometimes he would take verse of Bhagavatam to make it authentic or whatever.
Yes. He would be quoting, referring to some of the verses of Bhagavatam, quoting some of the beautiful verses from Bhagavatam, to be releasing according to his mood, and befitting to certain particular verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, befitting to the particular taste of certain specific verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, he would be also newly composing some of the new verses. Spontaneity, but
Il prenait des versets du Bhagavatam, puis d'après l'humeur du verset du Bhagavatam, lui il en composait d'autres. Mais ça n'a pas été enregistré.
For some reason or other, they remained mystically covered, mystically veiled, they are not clearly recorded. Only some of them got recorded by Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami.
Certains versets ont été enregistrés par Rupa Goswami, mais beaucoup d'autres ne l'ont pas été. How many years after Mahaprabhu has come Narottam Das Thakur? How many years? Long time.
Just next.
Not so long time after.
Just
Like
next.
50 years or something?
I have to find out, I have to calculate.
Okay.
You can find it out.
Because we can see in Narottam Das Thakur, then really it synthesizes everything, you know. It has to be done. And
Systematized, more systematic.
and the song was according to one kind of raga, you know, specifically. He invented even a new way of singing.
And therefore I just say, from the time of Srinivasa, Narottama, Shyamananda, these three main acharyas, okay, when they started their preaching mission, when they began their preaching mission very actively, enthusiastically, so naturally then they felt this strong necessity, felt some fine necessities of bringing everything, standardizing everything in a certain structure and stricture, certain system for their own sampradaya, for their disciples, so that everything goes on. In the life of the sadhana, everything goes on more disciplined, systematic manner. Otherwise it can be very difficult to cultivate life of sadhana. There is no discipline, no system. Not meaning the dry kind of vidhi only, not the dry, formal, technical system, but some healthy, lively system and discipline they introduced for the ease, for more comfortable way of the following their sadhana, cultivation of spiritual life, devotional life of their disciples. So naturally they introduced some healthy disciplines and systems.
Donc ils ont introduit Narottam Das Thakur, on ne sait pas exactement combien d'années après Mahaprabhu, mais lui et deux de ses associés qui commençaient à prêcher activement au Bengale et ailleurs, ont donc mis tous ces chants qui étaient en fait des moyens de prêcher, de parler la bonne parole d'un simple langage. Donc ils ont commencé à introduire ça avec la musique qui allait avec, etc. Donc ça a été vraiment standardisé à ce moment-là.
In Babaji Sampradaya we also find certain discipline and systems about certain order of singing songs at different times got established, slow but steady in their tradition. And then lastly we find, even up to Jagannath Das Babaji, he was also included in Shuddha Babaji Sampradaya. And talking about Shuddha, Vishuddha Babaji Sampradaya, who were recognized.
Parmi les Babaji authentiques, aussi entre eux, ils avaient synthétisé des différents chants chantés à différentes heures et tout ça. Parmi les vrais Babaji, comme Jagannath Das Babaji, etc., ils avaient déjà fait différents chants comme ça.
Jagannath Das Babaji, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, they all followed certain
Krishna Das
certain
Babaji.
system, yes. But again, I don't know about how they follow in Radhakunda Babaji. I have to find it out still. Because I have been used to be following our own standard system. But we can find out from their sampradaya, their parampara, Radhakunda Babaji parampara, how they have been following, what kind of systems or order these songs, devotional songs, they have been following during the time of Arati, Mongol Arati, 3 times Arati and Parikrama and other times. So we can find out. But which we follow now, it was all basically designed, or principally, fundamentally, actually designed and fixed by Srila Bhakti Thakur, then following in the mode of Bhakti Thakur, Srila Sridhar Thakur Prabhupada. And then it came down to our parampara, all the orders, the songs.
Pour résumer, ce qu'on chante aujourd'hui dans notre Gaudiya Sampradaya, c'est principalement, ça a été bien mis en paquet par Bhakti Thakur et son fils Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, qui ont vraiment reconnu, accepté les chants.
And thereafter, in the next generation of Guru Varga, we find they also composed their own songs or selected some of the songs, and they introduced only those specific songs during the time of Mongol Arati, Noon Arati, Evening Arati, or Parikrama. We'll find many examples, several such examples of that, introduction of the very specific songs selected by the founder Acharyas of the specific missions, even after Srila Thakur Prabhupada. Always in all temples, even the Chaitanya Math standard not always followed. Strict way of Chaitanya Math standard, Srila Thakur Prabhupada's temple standard is not even followed. Other Guru Varga, other stalwart disciples later on, subsequently they also introduce according to their specific mood also.
Yeah.
In harmony with their Gurudev's mood, of course. In full harmony. Adjustment with the mood of their Gurudev, Srila Thakur, Prabhupada and Srila Bhakti Nandan Thakur, of course.
Donc différents acharyas ont composé par la suite différents chants suivant leur propre humeur et tout ça. C'est pas qu'ils faisaient n'importe quoi, c'était en accord avec les acharyas précédents, mais suivant leurs différentes humeurs, ils ont composé des chants aussi bien de Mongol Arti que de l'Arti du soir, etc. Et on retrouve aujourd'hui quelquefois différents chants qui sont chantés dans différentes maths et ne sont pas tous les mêmes.
I'm not going into details explanation of all those. Everybody knows. All the devotees from their respective gurus' mission, they already know about.
Mais ceux qui suivent différentes missions et tout, ils savent bien déjà ça, que différents chants ont été introduits. But that means Narottam Das Thakur, he must have seen some flow, something missing, something, because you cannot, you explained that there was preaching. Before there was no so much preaching.
Right.
So I understand this.
It was needed.
But then there was something missing because, you know, they record Chaitanya Charitamrita, they record Chaitanya Mangal, they record Chaitanya Bhagavat, they record, so they knew something, if we don't do it now, something will be missed. So how is that? There was no song books. Then, okay, this song I hear, please chant like this. It is strange.
Maybe might be they did not have that feeling of missing. Might be they are not missing anything. Whatever they have got, whatever treasure of the Vaishnava Padavali, other devotional songs they already got by that time. Because there are also previous writers.
Yeah,
Okay.
so why there is not in writing? That's my point.
Yes. Because before Mahaprabhu there was already a world of devotional songs in the form of Vaishnava Padavali, composed by Chandidas, Vidyapati, Gyanodas, Govinda Das, even before Mahaprabhu.
Tukaram, all these people.
Tukaram.
From
Then Suradas,
yeah.
of course Jayadev,
Yeah.
Jayadev ji. Of course, some songs are found in Sanskrit way, through Billa Mangala, through Jayadev Prabhu,
Yes.
through Jayadev, Sanskrit and Bengali songs. Sanskrit song, Bengali song. Billa Mangal Thakur. Also the previous, they are like acharyas of the previous time. Okay, so they composed many devotional songs, and Mahaprabhu, and during his time they are just simply happy and satisfied, without feeling of missing. Enough is there. Big treasure already there, existing. Okay, so might be they are not feeling any missing. Now again added to that treasure, more added later on, by Srivas, Narottama, Shyamananda Prabhu, more added by Vishwanath Chakravarti Pada, then of course 6 Goswamis before them, then later on Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, then after the Saptam Goswami, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Saraswati Thakur, all that.
Donc je posais la question, pourquoi tout a été enregistré au niveau des divertissements dans les différents livres qu'on a, Chaitanya Charitamrita, etc. Et comment ça se fait qu'il n'y a pas eu du tout d'enregistrement des chants? Alors Maharaj dit que c'était déjà, il n'y avait rien de manquant, c'était déjà des chants qui existaient des Vaishnavas précédents, Jayadev Goswami, des siècles avant, qui avaient écrit de nombreux chants, de poèmes, des chants d'amour sur Krishna, et ces chants-là étaient, comme on dit, oralement transmis. Mais ils ne voyaient pas le besoin peut-être absolument de faire un livre de chants comme nous on le fait ici. C'était plutôt transmis d'une manière spontanée. De cette manière-là, c'est par la suite donc Narottam Das Thakur et tout ça qui ont vraiment...
See, the path of pure devotional cultivations in relation to the Supreme Lord, divine couple, always been very active. Not just by the world, let me say the world of the cultivation of pure loving devotion to divine couple. In other words, Supreme God, Supreme Goddess, have always been there, has always been there, vast world, in different forms, different ways. May not be exactly the way we are having now. Okay, after Narottam, Srinivas, Shyamananda, Prabhu, then Vishwanath Chakravarti Pada, then of course Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Saraswati Thakur. But in their time, even before the time of Mahaprabhu, the world of loving devotional songs to the Supreme Lord, a divine couple like Radha Krishna, Sita Ramachandra, Lakshmi Narayana, were there in different forms, different ways, in the form of verses. At that time they would be singing the verses, simply be chanting and singing the verses from different holy scriptures, from different Purana and different other Shakti high class holy scriptures, and also they had their own compositions of that time. All of those compositions are not recorded, printed out and preserved. Okay, due to, alas, we lost some of the great treasures in those days, but it doesn't mean it was not there. It was there still. So because Archana was going on, full swing worshipping, full swing function performance of the Archana Marga was going on. Also besides the Archana Marga, there was a vast world of spontaneous devotional songs, vast world of singing, chanting and singing, the loving devotional songs. Okay.
Donc il y avait
From the Alvars.
Offer to the, yes,
The Alvars, so they
What?
compose. Alvars.
Alvaros.
They compose so
Right.
much.
Many beautiful things, many beautiful verses.
Donc il y avait beaucoup de chants qui étaient, enfin, plutôt les gens avant, donc Mahaprabhu et tout ça, ils récitaient ou ils chantaient tellement bien le sanskrit qu'ils prenaient des versets ou des Puranas ou de tel ou tel livre, et puis ils chantaient de cette manière-là. Et puis certainement aussi, il y avait, ça fait longtemps que ça existe, l'archana, c'est-à-dire l'arati, etc. Donc il y avait des chants ou de leur propre composition ou des versets des Écritures qu'ils chantaient de cette manière-là. Donc ça existait, mais d'une manière qui n'a pas été enregistrée ou mis sur papier. Mais voilà, de cette manière-là, c'était transporté.
See, for wonderful examples, the world of Gopi Gita, Uddhava Gita, Bhramara Gita, they all existed in the world of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, books like Srimad Bhagavatam, pure devotional books, literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Brahma Samhita, Krishna Karnamritam, Gita Govind, they all existed even before Mahaprabhu.
Donc plein de livres existaient
Full
avant
of
Mahaprabhu.
songs. Full of
Gita
love
Govinda, Brahma Samhita, Viva Mangala Thakur, des tas de livres existaient qui sont des poésies merveilleuses qui se chantent. Donc, qui se chantaient. Alors, voilà, on va mettre.
What about tune? Giving the melodies? That was done later on. Some were given some melodies introduced by the composer of the songs, and later on some other expert musician added the melodies, not necessarily by the composer, by the writer. Okay, so in both ways it happened.
We can take then, if we go back really to the sources, then the Samaved is giving all the
Samaved is full of songs, beautiful melodious hymns, so meaningful, so sweetly melodic. Samaveda, full of many beautiful, wonderful devotional songs.
Vous il dit qu'originellement il y avait le Samaveda. Dans le Samaveda, tout est chanté, c'est très très beau chant de glorification. Donc ça, les chants ont existé depuis toute éternité.
We find many beautiful, wonderful devotional verses from Vishnu Purana, Padma Purana, of course Srimad Bhagavatam, the king of all the Puranas. Then Brahma Vaivarta Purana, the highest glory, transcendental glories of Srimati Radha Thakuran, actually manifested in a detailed way, elaborated way through Brahma Vaivarta Purana. So in this way there are many high-class books.
Donc il y avait plein de
Excellent
livres,
books are available, devotional books.
différents Puranas qui sont tous qui ont tous des très très beaux chants, des très beaux chapitres qui peuvent se chanter. Okay.
And of course, side by side, the great devotee personalities like Mirepoix, Shuddhas, then Tukaram, they also composed beautiful songs, love songs. And who else?
Gyandas,
Gyanodas, Govindadas,
les Maharashtra,
They are contemporary.
so many.
They are contemporary. Just after Chandidas Vidyapati, then Gyanadas, Govindadas, they all came. Basu Ghosh, they are all contemporary. Jayadev Prabhu, Chandidas, Jayadev, Chandidas, Vidyapati, they are more or less contemporary. The next level coming, Gyanadas, Govindadas, Basu Ghosh, Narahari Thakur, Narahari Sarkar, they are in this way. See, even Mukunda, Basu Ghosh, they also compose their own songs. Mahaprabhu sometimes asks, sing some nice devotional song, oh Mukunda, oh Basu Ghosh, and they used to be singing.
Mahaprabhu demandait à ses associés, comme Vasudev Ghosh et tout ça, de vas-y, chante un chant de ta composition, et immédiatement il sortait ses chants. Il y a aussi eu donc beaucoup de chants de dévots comme Tukaram, Gandas et plein d'autres qui ont fait des centaines de chants.
Surodas.
Et avant eux, il y a eu Jayadev Goswami, Vidyapati, Chandidas, qui étaient à peu près de la même époque, et après d'autres sont venus. Donc en tout, ça fait des milliers de chants. Voilà. Alors.
The great devotee poets come musicians. The great devotee poets come great singers like Basu Ghosha, Narahari Prabhu, Mukunda, Sarup Goswami, Rai Ramananda. Sometimes they would be singing according to the mood of Mahaprabhu. According to the mood, following the mood of Mahaprabhu, sometimes they would be singing other Vaishnava Padavali songs composed by other like Chandidas, Vidyapati, Jagadev. Some other time they could also be singing some of the songs composed by themselves. Vallabhacharya also these beautiful songs. Madhurashtakam.
Mahaprabhu has heard this Jagannath Nakam Vallabha.
Yes.
He has heard it because he was
Jagannath
singing.
Vallabha Natakam, all the released. Mahaprabhu released the compositions by Rai Ramananda Prabhu, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. Okay, directly. Some by Sarup Goswami Prabhu. Even the songs, though it's not clearly recorded, songs composed by Govinda Das, Basu Ghosh themselves, Narahari Prabhu. You translate? He has got a question now.
Alors, donc,
Ouais, c'est pareil. Madhvacharya also was a great musician and he was singing also.
Good singing.
So, Dear Sampradaya,
True.
Ramanujacharya, all Sampradaya. Vallabhacharya,
Of course.
such a,
Specifically. Of course.
so all Bhagavatam is being sang. You know, if you go
Prabhupada
Natatwa,
Bhatta Goswami, he would be uttering, he would be reading out Srimad Bhagavatam by singing.
Yeah.
The way he would be pronouncing, uttering each and every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam was with the raga, different kinds of raga, ragini, different musical melodies, not in ordinary way of chanting.
il parle de quelqu'un là.
yeah, the Vallabhacharya.
Vallabhacharya, donc il chantait tout le Bhagavatam avec différentes mélodies merveilleuses.
They are very artistic. Great devotee, great musical artists, great poets. They are blessed with multiple qualities. You know, blessed with versatile qualifications.
That's a Vaishnava.
Among the Muni, Rishi, Yogis you also find. Great mathematician, great scientist, great doctors like Ayurveda, but at the same time, great saints, spiritualist. And the qualities combined together. Yeah, what's your question?
Il est sans cesse formé
Tu veux savoir quels sont les chants préférés de Bhakti Nandan?
Oui, c'est ça.
He wants to know what were the preferred song, what was the preferred song of Bhakti Nandan?
What? Please speak loudly and
He
clearly.
wants to know what was the preferred song, which song Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj or Gurudev preferred. This is his question. Like very, very much, the most. Tu veux savoir la question?
Have you
Yes.
Have you listened to some of the songs sung by Srila Guru Maharaj? Have you listened to any of the songs sung by Guru Maharaj through functions, through recordings?
Yes, I remember his song for to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He writes for his master.
There are many songs favorite to him, such as many songs of Srila Bhakti Nandan Thakur, such as starting with Amona Durmati, Sangsara Bhitari, Poriya Achunami. I'm just uttering the first line only. The song starting with first line starting with Amona Durmati, Sangsara Bhitari. Then Bhuliya Tomare, Sangsare Asiya. Then of course songs like Ki Jani Ki Bole Tomaro Dhamete Hoinu Saranagata. Mostly from the Saranagati and Kalyan Kalpaturu, Bhakti Nandan Thakur. Then Atma Nivedana Tua Pade Kori Hoinu Parama Sukhi. Amar Bolite Prabhu Ar Keho Nai Tumi Amar Matra Pita Bandhu Bhai. This way. Manasha Deho Deho Jo Kichu Moro. Then of course, Sri Rupa Manjari Padu, Sri Moro Sampadu, Sri Moro Bhajanatiya. Then Gaurangera Duti Padu, Jar Dhana Sampad, Sejane Bhakati Rasasal. Nitai Padu Kamalo, Kotichanda Sushitalu, Jechayai Jagati. Songs around Srimati Radharani also. Radhika Charana Padma, Sakala Sera Sadma, Jatane Je Nahi Radha Bhajane Jadi, Mati Nahi Bhela, Krishna Bhajana Tava Akarane Gila. Then Virajara Pare Suddha, Parabhama Dham, Tadupari Sri Gokula Vrindavan Nam. Then Radha Krishna Pranomo, Jugalo Kishore. Then that Arati also, Jaya Jaya Gora Chandri, Arati Ko Shobha. That one also. Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Jugalo Milam. But in a private, reserved way. He released it, not in publicly. Some of the esoteric songs he released more privately, not publicly. Then songs like Ha ha moro, Gauro Kishoro, Kabe Daya Kori, Sigodruma Banu, Dakha Dive Mono Choro, Gaur Gadadhar songs composed in relation to Gaura Gadadhar. Ha ha moro, Gauro Kishoro, Kabe Daya Kori, Sigodruma Bane, Dakha Dive Mono Choro, Shananda Shukhada Kunjero Vitari, Gadadhare Bame Kori, Gadadhare Bame Kori. That's some beautiful song. There are of course many Sanskrit songs. Brahmara Gita, Uddhava Gita, Gopi Gita. They are all very dear to the heart of Guru Maharaj. Some of the several songs composed by Jayadev Goswami. Then of course some of the Vaishnava Padavali songs composed by Chandidas or Vidyapati, Gyanodas. Songs composed by Chandidas like Sai Keva Sunailo Shamona, Kaner Vitaro Dia, Morome Posilogo, Akulo Korilo, Manopran. Like Guru Maharaj uttered those songs several times. He released those songs many times in his life. Okay. Or like sung by Gyanodas, Rupo lagi ankhi jhure, gune mano bhor, prati ango lagi kande prati ango mor. By Govinda Das, Kipe khilu natogor gauro kishor, Abhinava hema kalapataru sancharu, Suradhani tire ujor, Chanchala charana kamalatale jhankaru, Bhakata bhramara gana bhur. Songs like Govinda Das, songs like Bhaja Hure Mano, composed by Govinda Das, Bhaja Hure Mano, Sinanda Nandana. And many more. I already wrote a book on Bhakti Rakshaka Bhajana Madhuri, based on the many beautiful verses and some of the songs Guru Maharaj used to be singing in his last portion of lifetime, absorbed way. So I recorded some of them, not all could be recorded, some of them, and composed a book, Bhakti Rakshaka Bhajana Madhuri. You can read that book. You can get many songs, many of the favorite songs and verses of Srila Guru Maharaj in that book, okay, manifesting in that book. So many, and besides the songs, Guru Maharaj had many most favorite verses from different holy scriptures, such as Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Krishna Karnamrita, Brahma Samhita, Brahma Vaivattakula, Ujjala Nilamani, Lalit Madhu, Vidabdhama, Ishapanishad, Tatta Sandarbha, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Hari Bhakti Vilas, Jaiva Dharma. Oh, he had vast knowledge throughout the many holy scriptures. You know. Of course, Vedanta, Upanishad. So, into the world of Vaishnava Padavali, Guru Maharaj also. Many of the songs from the world of Vaishnava Padavali, composed by Chandidas, Vidyapati, Gyanodas, Govindadas, Vasu Ghosh, Narahari Thakur. You know, Rai Ramananda. Many of the verses composed by Rupa Goswami, 6 Goswamis, all Guru knew all of them by heart. They are all favorite to Guru. Many of the verses and stanzas, specific stanzas specifically from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, are so favorite to Srila Guru Maharaj, so beloved to his heart. And there are many songs in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad, Chaitanya Charitamrita also, in that poem stanza, in the poem format. You know, they are also considered as songs from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad, specifically those who are tripadi. 1 portion, 3%? 3. Divided into 3 portions. Each line divided, each line composed in the style, divided to 3 portions. That's the rhyming. Like Vangshiganam Mrita Dham, Lavannam Mrita Janmastham, Jena Dekhi Shechado Vadam. So, first portion, second portion, and the third portion in one line, completing one sentence. In this way going on, called Tripadi Chanda. So there you find many songs in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavad, in this style. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, other Guru also follow that style. We call Tripadi style, a 3-divisional style, 3-divisional format in poetry.
Il a fait une description de nombreux chants. Prabhu demandait quel était le chant préféré de Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj. Du coup, il a fait une liste impossible à suivre. Mais le chant et aussi des versets composés qu'on trouve dans le Chaitanya Charitamrita et d'autres écritures qu'il prenait et qu'il lisait aussi en les chantant. Donc de cette manière-là, ça fait de nombreux chants. Il avait une grande érudition dans les sanskrit, dans les chants de Gita Govinda, etc. Du coup, c'est difficile de répondre juste un chant, par exemple, tu vois. Ça venait comme ça dans son esprit, suivant ses différentes humeurs, et comme il avait une vaste connaissance des Écritures, ben, il pouvait chanter à sa guise, quoi.
Ceux qui sont intéressés.
And many more, what I have described. Of course, some of his own compositions are all favorite to him. Some of these songs composed by himself, Sanskrit and Bengali songs, were favorite to Srila Guru Maharaj, such as Sujanat Buddha Radhita Prabhupada Padmastavakam, such as Pranati Panchakam, Dvaita Dasha Pranati Panchakam, starting with Bhaya Bhanjana Jaya Samsana Karunayata Nayana, Kanako Ujjala Janako Ujjala Rasha Sagar Chayana, and Bhakti Vinada Viraho Dashakam also, reading which Sri Sridhar Prabhupada commented, remarked, happy style, very happy style, and he said tears of joy while reading that glorification, reading that stava composed in glorification of Thakur Bhakti Vinod.
By himself.
Yeah, but it's composed by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, by himself. Some of the Sanskrit songs he composed during the time of his Gurudev. Not many, but few of them. Like Bhakti Vinod Viraho Dashakam, composed during the time of Sri Thakur Prabhupada.
Donc non seulement il chantait plein de chants qu'il connaissait, qu'il prenait des différentes écritures, mais il chantait aussi ses propres chants. Donc non seulement celui qu'on connaît, le Prabhupada, le chant du matin qu'on chante, mais il a fait d'autres, comme par exemple glorifier aussi Bhakti Vinod Thakur dans un Astakam, etc. Certains en sanskrit et d'autres aussi en bengali. Donc il chantait aussi ses propres chants.
Of course, one of his most wonderful compositions, Premodhamo Deva Stotram, composed in praise of Mahaprabhu, through 70 verses. Beautiful. Sometimes he himself would be releasing his own composition. Okay.
Donc il savourait
And
lui-même
he felt they were revealed, many of them are revealed to his heart.
il savourait lui-même ses propres compositions, comme le Stotram qui glorifie Mahaprabhu en 75 verses.
70 verses.
En 70 versets, 75 versets, et il chantait lui-même comme ça avec grand plaisir, quelquefois les larmes aux yeux, tellement il savourait la profondeur de ses chants.
The song, the Stotram Premodhamo Devas, is of such nature, if a devotee can have all the verses, 70 verses by heart, it means he has got by heart whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. Almost. All whole Chaitanya Charitamrita by essential way. Okay, everything is there.
Si ce chant qui a été composé par Srila Maharaj, si ce chant est appris par cœur, 75 versets, en fait ça veut dire qu'on va comprendre tout le Chaitanya Charitamrita, parce que tout le Chaitanya Charitamrita se trouve condensé dans ces 75 versets.
Having whole Chaitanya Charitamrita by heart, by knowing, having Premodhamo Deva Stotra, the Siddhantic aspect, poetic beauty aspect, Leela aspect, whatever described, beautifully described in Chaitanya Chaitanya, all are there, treasured, stored and treasured inside the 70 verses. In essential, summarized, essential form.
Dans ce chant composé par lui de 75 versets, on retrouve tout le Chaitanya Charitamrita dans son aspect de Siddhanta, de compréhension philosophique, de poésie et de divertissement. Tout est là dans ces 75 versets.
We often found the way Guru Maharaj would be pronouncing, uttering many verses of great scriptures. Great scripture like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Karnam. He would not only be chanting verse, he would be singing them. He would be singing them, often singing them. Like Viddate Hridaya Granthi, Viddate Hridaya Granthi, Chittante Sarva Samsaya, Kshiante Chasha Karmani, Mai Dishte Akhilatmani, Mai Dishte Parabari. I am copying Guru Maharaj. Following, the mode of following, is copying the way he was singing. Tava Katha Mritam Tapta Jivanam, Kavi Viriritam Kalmashapaham, Savana Mangalam Srimad Bhuvi Te Bhurida Jana. He would be singing like this song for him from Krishna Karnamrita. Mara Swayamanu Madhuradhati Mandalamanu Madhur Jame Vanu Manu Nayana Mritamanu Beni Mrijanu Mama Jivita Ballavonu Veni Mrijanu Mama Jivita Ballavonu Krishnoya Mabhrudayate Mamalochana Krishnoya Mabhrudayate Mamalochana. He'll be singing in this way. Many.
Non seulement il récitait les versets, en fait il les chantait de la façon que Maharaj vient de le faire. Il chantait carrément les versets du Srimad Bhagavatam et de différentes écritures, Biva Mangala Thakur, etc. Il les chantait de cette manière-là.
Often compositions like Prabodhananda Pad, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You'll be singing with great taste.
Il chantait tous les chants, tous les acharya avec grand.
He was the ocean of so much Siddhantic knowledge. Vast. Okay.
Une vaste connaissance de tous ces différents écrits.
Gopi Gita. Nigama Kalpataru from Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the introductory verses. Guru Maharaj would be singing like this. Nigama Kalpataru Khalitam Phalam Sukhamukhadamita Dravasam Yutam Pivatam Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rashika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. We're singing. They are all songs for Guru Maharaj. Nigama Kalpataru Khalitam Phalam Sukhamukhadamita Dravasam Yutam Pivatam Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rashika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. Sinnatam Shakatha Krishna Punnasavana Kirtana Hriddantasto Jhavadrani Vidunoti Suhitsatam. In this way. Then Nalinanatha Padarabindam Yogeshwari Hridi Vichintamagadavu Ahustyate Nalinanatha Padarabindam Yogeshwarai Hridi Vichintamagadavodhari Samsara Kupa Patituttaranavalambam Geham Yashamapi Manasradiyat Sadana. From Gopi Gita, Bhagavatam. In this way, many more. So it's very difficult to say how many verses are favorite, how many songs and verses are so favorite to Srila Guru Maharaj. Vast, oceanic. His choice, his taste was oceanic taste. Many were so favorite.
Donc on ne peut pas dire qu'on va citer un chant qu'il aimait parce que il avait c'était comme un vaste océan de mémoire de différents chants, écritures, etc. Donc on ne peut pas citer seulement une chanson qu'il aurait aimée.
What you are going to say, I'm sorry to stop you because when I'm in the flow, if any remark comes in which maybe it will break flow, so I take some time to complete and then you are saying something, you remember still? Going to remark something?
Tu voulais dire quelque chose?
No, I just wanted to translate this question.
Yes. So all the devotees should kindly need to understand when I'm in a flow, it cannot be broken. even some remark or some question coming in the line, but it can be of different aspects, that question. In harmony with the same flow, but different aspects. Then I won't be able to complete, relatively, at least relatively complete my mood, my flow, if I take that question, number one. If another type of question comes in between, then it will be another branch. I will lose the flow, I cannot complete. So therefore, often I tell the devotees, let me complete, at least please let me complete at least relatively the holistic release of the flow, at least relatively. I cannot complete completely, but relatively.
Donc Maharaj dit que lorsqu'il est dans le flow, quand il est en train de parler, il sent l'extase qui vient, le sentiment qu'il a. On peut pas le couper. Difficile de le couper parce que ça il faut que la question. Il faut le laisser terminer.
Oui, il va partir dans une autre branche.
Voilà, il va partir dans une autre branche.
Because what we are discussing now, what we are engaged in hearing and speaking, it's a living thing. So sometimes revelation happens by the will of the divine couple, Mahaprabhu, Guru Varga. Sometimes even speakers always do not know what he is going to speak. It is happening. Speakers become, the sincere speakers often become like vehicle, transparent via media, instrumental, something passing through them by their own sweet will, and we feel that. We never take the credit to our own intelligence, anything. All blessings coming from the blessings. Mercy flow of their mercy flowing through the speaker and those who are engaged in hearing, both speakers and the audience. Both are being graced in the Krishna Katha. Interrelated way. Both are being graced, blessed. Those who are hearing and those who are speaking. So, often we do not plan out. We do not plan out what we are going to speak. It's flowing in a natural way. As it is their beauty of the revelation. Wonderful.
Maharaj explique que lorsqu'il y a le flow, la beauté de la révélation qui vient, même celui qui parle ne sait pas ce qu'il va dire, ce qui va sortir de sa bouche, parce que c'est pas lui qui parle. Donc c'est merveilleux, c'est la raison pour laquelle il ne doit pas être coupé.
L'auditoire aussi en bénéficie.
Voilà, c'est ça, et l'auditoire aussi en bénéficie.
See, by nature, there is no end. By nature, there is no ending point to such flow. But we have to somehow we have to stop and aim relative sense, relatively. Otherwise, it's endless. It can go on, such discussions can go on throughout the 100 years, thousands of years, millions of years, continuously, if we can have the patience. After all, we are talking about the infinite. So the nature of the glory of the infinite, also like that. It may sound like millions of years can be continued without any stoppage. Yes. Mm-hmm. Millions and billions of years can be continued. Because if the scientists can discover, that billions of galaxies, trillions of galaxies, multiverse, so huge, so vast. See, they are discovered by millions, not just millions, billions and trillions, sometimes zillions. Why we cannot? We're talking about the infinite. Infinite means infinite. Multifarious, innumerable dynamics, aspects, dimensions of experiences and expressions, experiences and revelations, innumerable aspects. It is what it is, absolute. We are talking after all infinite absolute. After all, we are talking about infinite absolute. It means that infinite.
En fin de compte, nous parlons de l'absolu infini. Donc de même que les savants disent qu'il y a des milliards et des milliards et des milliards de planètes, on peut parler d'un même sujet des milliards et des milliards et des milliards de vies sans aucune coupure. Parce qu'on est en relation, Maharaj explique, avec l'infini. Donc voilà, c'est difficile de couper les trois.
Then so please, for the last 10 minutes, you keep question time. Because you are telling so many interesting things, and naturally we have questions. So please give a little time for question answer by the end.
I appreciate.
And this way, I like better waiting and ask a question at the end. But sometimes we are frustrating because the person is speaking. I don't speak about you. Some person is speaking and then finish RT or something, and then there is no. We cannot ask questions.
I understand.
But I think it's important to at least 2-3 good questions can be there. So
Sure.
in this time we have little time for that.
Sure, I fully understand. Appreciate that. If you all have patience still, I can invite some questions.
I had one, but he spoke, and my question is gone. I want to ask you, but it's gone, so let's see if I can get it done.
Si vous avez des questions, je peux répondre dans la question.
By the way, now it's it's
That's
time
right.
for you to it's the sun.
No, 28.
No, 25.
I don't mind.
28.
28.
I don't mind because I'm flowing now.
Yeah.
So when we are tasting Harikatha, speaker and the hearer, both are tasting so much.
Nourishing.
You want to forget all the time and hunger, all these. We have also found that in our Guru Varga like that, going on hours after hours, tirelessly.
Yeah.
Doctors say, you are heart patient, you cannot be speaking so much. Don't care. Our Guru Varga is saying, we are trying to be following in the footsteps. Yes, what was your question?
No, I just wanted to add that historical of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who said that we will print the newspapers every day.
Well, we can print.
And people, how can you print?
Exactly. That's one of the great examples. Wonderful example. What I have just explained. That every point of the discussion of Krishna Katha is representing infinite characters and nature. Every point that. Because it's like that. Suppose you take it looks like a small point of a topic. When you go deeper and analyze, it's infinite world. Like sometimes you see in a computer, one point and you go inside huge world. And then you take another point from that world and go inside huge world. It goes further and further and further to the farthest without limit. Anoroniyan mahoto mohiya. Therefore, Supreme Lord, the nature of the Supreme Lord, the glory of the Supreme Lord has been described as that of smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. He can be manifesting in a way smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. Apparently self-contradictory wording. But that's how it can be expressed only. You know? That's what is the nature of Supreme Lord and His glories.
It's like a fractals logic of.
Les gloires de l'absolu sont infinies. C'est un petit peu comme quand on touche dans un aéroport, l'ordinateur, un mot, on trouve des milliards et des milliards d'autres mots. C'est infini, Maharaj explique.
I have a question.
Okay, I cannot take so many questions together. Let me answer to him. Yes. Exactly, you made a comment. It was rather a comment. Rather than
Not just to, I like to
support,
push
to help.
you to get some more Nectar. It's like you have to know how to milk a cow. Otherwise, what you get? Cow dung, urine. So if you know how to milk cows, then you get good milk.
So Sri Thakur Prabhupada. Now I'm thinking maybe I'll take another half an hour to explain about how Sri Thakur Prabhupada held. Try to be precise. Yeah, this is one of the most wonderful remarks, comments by Sri Thakur Prabhupada. When the devotee, the disciple asked him, how can we publish daily newspaper on this spiritual news? Publishing daily newspaper on this spiritual news, Prabhupada? He said, why not? If you can be publishing daily mundane newspaper, he said, if you can be publishing the normal newspaper, daily newspaper, just covering all the mundane newses and limited, which is the mundane world is still limited, which is so limited compared to the vast, infinite spiritual world. How can you think? You cannot be publishing daily spiritual newspaper. If you can simply be publishing the daily mundane newspaper, which is the world, the mundane plane is so limited compared to the spiritual world. So what makes you think that you are not able to publish spiritual newspaper on daily basis? The disciple was startled and the disciple was, startled and excited to hear it. There's so much news from the spiritual world, it cannot be finished. But yes, it is. If you know the art of how to enter inside that world, when you learn the art, not only art, when you learn the art and qualifications, blessed qualifications to have entrance into that infinite world of spiritual experience, realizations, spiritual world of spiritual news, you cannot but experience. It's simply limitless. It's simply flowing, simply happening without a limit, without a beginning, without an end. Without the beginning, without an end. Okay. That's the nature. And therefore he did that. Sri Thakur Prabhupada actually practically applied that principle and got daily Nadia Prakash, spiritual newspaper published on that day, daily, and circulated. Okay.
Oui, de même, tu peux peut-être, de même que les journalistes écrivent tous les jours des sujets, de nouvelles sur des sujets mondains, dans la vie spirituelle, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur a expliqué qu'on peut écrire tous les jours des sujets d'ordre spirituel. Parce que c'est infini, on parle de l'infini.
Because even nature of Radha Krishna Leela, Supreme Lord's Leela, is infinite and eternal. So if you can really receive all the dynamic news, every time of the happenings, pastimes of the Radha Krishna, Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord, is infinite. But we do not always know all the pastimes, all their activities.
Parce que les divertissements de Radha Krishna sont infinis, on peut recevoir ces divertissements et les révéler dans une manière infinie. Il n'y a jamais de fin entre les parler.
From the Mahabhagavata platform of the vision, I repeat, from the Mahabhagavata level of the vision, awareness of the news, spiritual news, simply infinite. The whole multiversal activities are also a kind of Leela of the Lord. Because Jagannath, Krishna means Lord of universe. So all the multiversal, limitless multiversal actions and activities going on in every fraction of second, all over. The creation, function, creation, maintenance, destruction, so many innumerable and so much activities all the time going on. also a kind of lila, a portion of the lila of the Supreme Absolute Divine, according to Mahabhagavata Bhishma. Everything is a part of the lila, of the Supreme Absolute Infinite. Then we understand how infinite everything can be.
Selon le Mahabhagavata, c'est infini, je veux dire, tout comme dans chaque univers, il y a aussi une lila qui est là du couple divin, et celui qui parle peut recevoir ces informations et en parler à l'infini, parce qu'on est en train de parler d'infini. En gros, c'est ça.
Then what to speak more about the news of the Leela, continued Leela on the plane of perfection, on the plane of eternal perfection, Goloka Vrindavana.
Alors, ça c'est simplement dans tous les différents univers. Mais que dire de ce qui se passe à Golok,
Because the very term Goloka means circle.
Le terme Golok signifie
Srila Prabhupada explained as full sphere, no hemisphere, full sphere, representing the absolute truth, full-fledged.
Prabhupada explique que ça représente la vérité absolue d'une manière complète.
Goloka.
C'est le mot Golok. Le Golok.
Prabhupada often said solid circle. Full-fledged circle. Goloka represents fullness, all round. So roundness actually representing fullness. No halfness, no seminess, no quarterness, all this. Okay, no. All round. All round means fullness.
Golok signifie tout rond, c'est-à-dire c'est complet. C'est complet.
Like sometimes we often say, oh, he's all square, he's all rounder, meaning versatile genius. Yes, something like representing complete, complete ability. In the mundane world it is said in a relative sense, but while the same expression is used for the absolute, it is actually meant in absolute sense, all rounder.
Au niveau mondain, on dit une expression anglaise que je ne connais pas, que c'est quelqu'un qui voit d'une manière assez ronde, mais au niveau absolu, d'une manière générale, mais au niveau absolu, ça représente la perfection, parce qu'on voit l'absolu dans son ensemble.
A most ideal verse to explain about that, what I am just explaining now, is that famously known verse from Ishopanishad.
Om
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamivacchati. Say then.
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamivavasishyate.
Il y a celui que la prière.
L'invocation.
On reflète cette du Sri Upanishad, reflète cette réalité.
Okay, I'm not going into the explanation of that verse. Whole night will go. Okay.
Srila Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj used to say something extraordinary.
Are you planning to wake up are you really planning to wake up the whole night? Ekadashi through Harikatha?
T'attises le feu là.
Should I say or not?
Say again.
Srila Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj used to say something absolutely wonderful about absolute. You may remember that. The absolute is the center that is everywhere. And the circumference is nowhere.
Exactly. That was actually the statement. That was originally the statement of Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And so Guru Maharaj would love to quote that statement from his own Gurudev. That, Saraswati Thakur was Srila Prabhupada was one of the great mathematicians, astrologers of his time. So, sometimes he would be explaining some of the spiritual realities, philosophical realities through mathematical language. So he once remarked, or he often stated, he explained the infinite in this mathematical term. To this mathematical term, everywhere center, nowhere circumference is equal to infinite.
Repeat again?
Nowhere circumference, everywhere center, nowhere circumference is equal to infinite. Because everywhere center, nowhere circumference is equal to infinite. Or, other way, sometimes he also said nowhere circumference, everywhere center is equal to infinite. Means when we are seeing the circumference, it's limiting. It's limiting. Circumference means it's a limitation. But nowhere circumference, everywhere center is equal to infinite. See? Without circumference, everywhere center. Like beginning of the beginninglessness. We say.
Beginningless.
See, Anadi Radhi Govinda. He is the Adi, he is the beginning of all beginninglessness. Last limit of all limitlessness. It's just cute way of saying, expressing. Apparently paradoxical way, but it's a very wonderful way of expressing.
Wonderful.
You know?
Excellent.
So nowhere circumference, everywhere center is equal to infinite. Beautiful, wonderful, so expressive.
Absolute.
Translate.
Moi, j'avais l'habitude de dire, partout, nulle part il y a la circonférence. Non, qu'est-ce que je dis? Oui, nulle part il y a la circonférence, partout est le centre. Et en fait, cette phrase vient de son maître spirituel Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, qui était un mathématicien et qui définissait des fois des manières mathématiques la vérité absolue. Donc, il disait aussi, partout, nulle part est la circonférence, partout est le centre, et cela signifie l'infini. Et des fois, il disait, partout est le centre, nulle part est la circonférence, et il signifie nulle part il y a la circonférence, et cela correspond à l'infini. Donc c'est voilà, c'était une des phrases de Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj, qui vient en fait de son gourou Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati.
So we stop here. Resting is also a part of service. Ultimate sense. Giving pronouns to all of you.